Bienvenidos a el Chuco Sportscast con tus anfitriones UTEP 25 y RedMT 25. ¿Qué pasó, mi gente? It's UTEP 25 otra vez. Bienvenidos a un otro episodio del Chuco Sportscast, episodio 32. Yo soy el UTEP 25 y este es el RedMT 25. ¿Qué onda, bro?
Aquí estoy descansando, bro. ¿Y usted?
Estoy bien. I just got off of work not too long ago. But
Qué bueno.
yeah. But most definitely. And today, ahorita hoy es martes. Y ya sabes que estamos haciendo UTEP Tuesdays otra vez, cabrones. Alrighty, so we're doing
Arre, bro.
UTEP Tuesdays. So you see we got the repping the UTEP and El Paso gear. So we're going to kind of talk a little bit about what's going on. But first, we always, like to start off the day with the Spanish word of the day, palabra del día. And the Spanish word of today is el cetro, which means the scepter. So, por ejemplo, durante la coronación, el rey portaba el cetro en su mano derecha, which means during the coronation, the king would bear the scepter in his right hand. And then the other example is, si el hechicero descubre que robamos su cetro, estamos fritos. If the sorcerer discovers that we stole his scepter, we're done for. Estamos fritos.
Estamos fritos, yeah.
Well, we're fried.
Yeah, estamos fritos, done. Well, it's like, how they say, when you say cook, the eggs are done, fried, they're cooked. So yeah,
Listos, fritos.
Estamos fritos, yeah, it's appropriate, man.
Yeah, that's pretty good. I like that.
It fits.
Yeah, it does fit. Pero entonces, let's go on to the next thing. We're going to talk about the El Paso Locomotive at the current moment. So since October 9th, they've been 4 out of 5 as far as the last few games they've been playing. They beat Tulsa 2-1. They beat Colorado Springs 4-2. They lost pretty badly to the LA Galaxy second team, 5-0. And then they beat Austin Bold 3-0. And then they beat OKC Energy 4-0. So they kind of let off some steam after that huge loss to the Galaxy. So yeah, we got that going thus far. So as far as the overall, let's see. The overall standings. Let's see if this will load. Sometimes we get shit to load. So Phoenix Rising, Orange County. Sometimes, guys, when we have the technology, sometimes it doesn't always go. Yeah, there we go. See, sometimes you gotta refrescalo.
Yeah. Frustrating. Technology is not perfect.
Okay, so we got the Phoenix Rising, Orange County. Hold on. I hate when you have to do this. I don't know what it is about Google's little search engine deal, but every time we do this, it doesn't allow me to scroll down.
Why don't you try using Firefox or Safari or the other?
Firefox is dead.
Really?
Yeah.
They don't support it on Mac anymore?
It's not as substantial, dude. It's not as good. So we got Phoenix Rising for the Western Conference Pacific at number 1. Behind them, Orange County, San Diego Loyal, and the LA Galaxy second team. It looks like they are probably geared to be in probably playoff contention when things start for that. The El Paso Locomotives is number 1 in their division, in the Western Conference Mountain Division. And they are leading over San Antonio, Colorado Springs, and New Mexico. So pretty much the El Paso Locomotives, the Locos as people like to call them, they are currently 18-10-3. So they have 3 losses. So a good amount of draws, but they have a 5-game advantage over San Antonio in second place. And then for the Eastern Conference Central, we got Birmingham, Louisville, Memphis, and FC Tulsa in the top 4 there. And then for the Eastern Conference Atlantic, we got Tampa Bay, Charlotte, Pittsburgh, and Miami FC. So those are the standings for the current USL Championship League. And El Paso seems to be doing quite well. As far as the remainder of their schedule, let's see. So the current situation is that they will face the Rio Grande Valley the Toros, the Rio Grande Valley Toros. And then Something's wrong with your connection. Check it again. Well, I will not. So at some point, we'll get back to that. So what I kind of want to continue to talk about now is just UTEP's current situation with the football team. They had a bye week this past week. They're about to face Florida International. But with this little article from KVIA.com, it kind of talks about some things that occurred within the bye week. So UTEP did not play this weekend on a bye week, but with how things played out elsewhere on the field, they should be happier about where they stand in Conference USA Western Division. In a major upset, the 24-point underdog Rice traveled to UAB and shocked the Blazers 30-24. The loss was UAB's first in Conference USA this season and dropped them from what had been a three-way tie with UTEP and UTSA in first place. So it looks like it's UTSA and UTEP at the current moment with the lead in Conference USA play. Miners will travel to UAB for their last game of the regular season on November 26th. The unbeaten UT San Antonio, 8-0 and 4-0 in Conference USA, went on the road to Louisiana Tech and made quick work of the Bulldogs, forcing 3 turnovers en route to a 45-16 victory. El Paso's most recent win came against Louisiana Tech, a 19-3 home win. With the win, UTSA moved to 23rd in the AP national rankings and ensured that the Roadrunners will be ranked and unbeaten when they travel to the Sun Bowl to play the Miners on November 6th. Meanwhile, UTEP is 6-1 with 3-0 in Conference USA, travels to Florida Atlantic. Sorry, I said Florida International. Florida Atlantic, who is 4-3 and 2-1 in Conference USA play next weekend, has the 14-point underdogs. Make no mistake, Dana Dimmel and the Miners will be fully locked in on the Owls all week as they look to extend their unbeaten streak in Conference USA. But a chance to knock off the unbeaten ranked opponent at home on November 6th presents what could be the most important UTEP football game over a decade. Presently, UTEP versus the 23rd ranked UTSA is scheduled for a 2 p.m. kickoff. However, it could be pushed back if it gets moved to a national broadcast, which from what I heard, I think that actually did happen. I think it's actually going to get pushed to a national broadcast.
Yes, it did. Kickoff will be at 8:15 p.m. And it will be broadcast on ESPN2.
Nice.
I don't know if the 8:15 is Eastern time or local time, but yeah, it's going to be. I think it's Eastern time because no. Forgive me, guys. I'm not sure what time it would be, because usually games that late night usually kickoffs around 7:00. So maybe it's 8:15 Central, 9:15 Eastern. I'll have to double check that, but yeah, it did get pushed back, so it'll be broadcast on ESPN2. So it'd be nice to see this game.
Yeah, it's an exciting event, and it'll be on the day after my birthday, November 6th. So that's going to be quite fun.
Yes.
And as a matter of fact, I'm actually visiting you in Dallas for that day.
Yes. I'm excited about that. Still working to get that day off, but I will get it.
Yeah, so maybe hopefully we can figure out something to do, maybe a small mini El Chuco Sportscast when I get there. Maybe a small session.
That'd be dope.
Yeah, but that's going to be exciting. And as far as like the whole situation with this team, it would be amazing if they did beat UTSA, because then they would pretty much have knocked off a ranked team within college football. So that would really help UTEP's stock in a lot of things. So hopefully that does something. I mean, they've done it before, because there was some years ago that Houston was nationally ranked and UTEP ended up beating them, knocking them out of their rank. So we'll see what happens at that point. So that's what's going on with UTEP football. They play Florida Atlantic on this upcoming weekend. We'll see how they do. But I kind of wanted to tell a little bit of a story, because I personally was substituting for a school. Well, I mean, I was substituting for one, and then I got transferred to another school because they needed help over there. And they were like, oh, well, we're going to go to an assembly at this time. And I'm like, okay, an assembly. Well, you have to be there because you're the substitute and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, all right. So what happens is we get there, and then there's this guy, Keith Davis. He's a 2-time Rose Bowl champion and former NFL player. His career was cut short due to injuries. And he's a motivational speaker currently, talking about, being beyond great. And I saw that whole presentation. All the kids were gathered into the the auditorium, and they pretty much, spoke to all these kids, talking about their personal stories and also stories about kids and people they've met along the way. Because they try to give motivation to these kids to make certain that they do better, they become more respectful, they do the right things in class. So former University of Southern California NFL football player Keith Davis spoke to the Salthawks football program, Hutchinson High School's auditorium Monday morning. So this is an older article. The only reason I'm reading this is because I'm using this as an example, because half of the stuff that they said in this article was what happened in the presentation that I saw. So a 40-minute speech by Keith Davis rallied these players with their hands in the air with number one symbol flying high and with an assembly deep voice, "I am a champion." So they kept having children say, "Hey, I am a champion. I will be successful. No distractions, just stuff like that." But what's crazy is, and I didn't recognize this, and it's dumb because he was wearing the jersey. Guess who else was there? UTEP player and Lufkin, Texas product, Germard Reed. Germard Reed. He played for UTEP.
Damn.
He was, I believe, a linebacker, if I'm not mistaken. Oops, I don't know what happened. I thought I had that other tab open. Sorry, let me look up Germard Reed again. Because, yeah, I had his tab open. For some odd reason, it got closed. But, yeah, overall, Germard Reed played for UTEP for some odd years. His statistics, they don't really show much as far as the actual statistics for some reason. But yeah, he played for UTEP for some odd years. He is originally from California, but he pretty much transferred to Lufkin, like with his family, because he kind of came from a very rough background, according to him. Like that was his story. He came from a really rough background in LA, and they had to move elsewhere just so they can, provide for a better life. And at that moment, let's see, Germard, if this thing would work. There we go, Germard Reed. And sorry, this is working a little bit slow as far as the footage, but when you hear it on not Spotify Greenroom, we don't do the UTEP Tuesdays on Spotify Greenroom just yet, because we're kind of testing the waters with it. But yeah, here we are. UTEP Miners, Germard Reed. So he was 6'1". It says his hometown is Lufkin, Texas, but technically he's from LA. He was number 61, and it's funny because like he had that orange jersey and it said like WAC, and I'm like, why does that look so freaking familiar? And then I heard somebody say something about UTEP, and I'm like, wait, what? I was like, woo, UTEP. But I didn't know that was Germard Reed. So Germard Reed, his full name is Germard Augmund Reed. His parents are Germard Reed Senior and Heidi Johnson. He has one brother and sister, and he has 3 cousins, and all of them either played in the NFL or are currently in the league. And those names are Dante Hall, Hardy Nickerson, and guess who? Ed Reed. He is related to the man, the myth, the legend, Ed Reed.
Oh, wow. Who would have known, man?
Yeah, I thought, what a small world.
And it's saying he was a freshman in 2010. Oh, okay. You know what? Yeah, because I was a freshman in 2010. So you know what? I think it's starting to come back to me. I do remember him now. Let's look at his picture one more time.
Yeah, sorry. Sometimes the thing is a little bit. Okay, hold on. Bio, related, stats, historical. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. You know what? I do remember him. Damn, it's been so long now. Yeah, I remember him playing when I was there as a freshman. So we were both freshmen at the same time. That makes all the sense in the world now. I remember him playing for sure.
Yeah,
and to me, he was one of the more dominant defensive players that I watched based on what I saw. So, wow, okay, because it's like, because it says his freshman year he got about 31 tackles, 4.5 tackles for losses. Yeah, dude. Wow. Who would have thought?
Yeah. So overall, he is a linebacker and defensive tackle. So he was, prior to UTEP, he was appointed co-defensive player of the year in District 14. Sorry, is it 4 through 5A following his senior year at Lufkin High School. Also an honorable mention All-State honoree after tallying 80 tackles, 12 tackles for losses, and 5 sacks in 2008. All-District choice as a junior and senior, amassed 57 tackles, 12 tackles for loss, and 6 sacks as a junior. 2-year starter for Coach John Outlaw, played defensive tackle and a sophomore. So yeah, so he pretty much was really great player out of Lufkin, and then he was redshirted in 2009. He was defensive scout team MVP. Sorry, my dog is kind of barking a little bit on the side here. He's sometimes he gets a little bit nervous hearing other things going on. But overall, so let's see.
Yeah, this guy is. Oh wow, yeah, he's my age.
He's just older. He's just a little bit
older. He's older than me by 5 months, but still, okay, cool.
Yeah, but in 2010, he established himself as one of the top freshmen in Conference USA, providing 31 tackles, 4.5 tackles, losses for a sack and pass breakup, and 8 quarterback hurries, while appearing in every game. Tied the team lead in quarterback pressures. Started 11 games at left tackle. And then in 2011, he played 10 games, including 9 starts at left tackle in sophomore season, ranked second in team sacks 4, one of 6 minors with at least 3 hurries of the year. Finished with more solo sacks than assisted tackles. Solo tackles than assisted tackles. I misread that. Ooh. Reading is not my strong suit today, ladies and gentlemen. A veces, wait, no puedo leer. Okay, so here's the thing. So in so that was 2011, and then in 2012, he made 9 starts while playing all 12 contests on the season. Compiled 38 tackles, including 4 solo stops, 22 yards, 7 tackles for losses with 22 yards, and 4 with 2 sacks for 14 yards. One of his sacks came against number 4 Oklahoma, credited with a trio of quarterback hurries, including 2 against SMU, pitched with a pair of pass breakups. In all honesty, though, his career was cut pretty short, because in this article right here, it talks about his time as a player. So let me see. I'll go back to the other parts of the story. So let's see, because I mean, Keith Davis, a lot of people know about Keith Davis. He's won a couple of Rose Bowl titles, or at least one of them was a Rose Bowl title, and the other one was another bowl game. But he played for USC, and then he played for the New York Giants, but his time was cut short due to injuries. But yeah, overall, it was a interesting situation seeing those two there. But apparently with Germard Reed, his career was cut short, I believe, due to a spinal injury.
Damn.
But then he kind of continued his education and graduated with a communications degree at UTEP.
Nice, man. It just sucks that he got hurt. He couldn't continue, but hey, as our parents always said, regardless of what you do, you got to get that degree. And I'm glad he did. That says a lot right there.
Yeah, and pretty much a lot of their stories kind of dealt with trouble and adversity, kind of coming from really hard backgrounds. And it was kind of sad to hear some of the stories that they said, because a lot of it, I think they tried to mention it to kind of teach children, hey, you need to be good to other people, you need to be good to your teachers, and most importantly, you need to be good to yourself. So that's just something that I thought was very powerful. Whether that was overall helpful in the end is another story, because in all honesty, that's odd. It's like it changed me to a different thing. So let me go back to this thing. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen, if you're watching it on the video. There we go. So I don't know what happened. I think something accidentally got pressed. So here's the deal. Reed also presented an angle of dealing with trouble and adversity at a young age. Davis's father committed suicide when he was only 4 years old, attended 19 different schools at the time he was in high school. He grew up in South Central Los Angeles. Reed could not live with his mother and did not even know who his father was. Instead, he lived with his grandmother in Texas, the state that produces the most NFL players, Davis said. Reed went to Lufkin, where he was co-defensive player of the year, District 14-5A during his senior year, and got offers from Florida, Miami, because Ed Reed, I think, was an alum at Miami, so his cousin was an alum, so that could have been something. Texas and Texas A&M, eventually deciding to go to UTEP from 2011 to 2014, and bringing along one of his cousins too. A neck vertebrae injury. Oh, so it's still a vertebrae, but it was within the neck, I guess. Ended Reed's career. Unfortunately, Davis said during the beginning of the presentation, but that did not stop him from graduating and earning a communications degree from UTEP, all the while battling dyslexia. In grade school, Reed's teacher said he could not read or write, but ended up where he is today with his degree because Reed wanted to be beyond great. And that was something he wanted to iterate, that like you can go so much farther if you put in the effort, because I had so many people telling me that you can't read, you can't do this, you can't do that. And it's a powerful message. And it's sad because a lot of kids nowadays, they don't seem to comprehend or understand the strife that people have gone through. And they just think that, like, I don't need school, or I don't need any of this. But whether you believe that school is important or not, I think personally a good education is important. Understanding the world around you and how it works is very important. And if you don't have those people, like teachers, that can help guide you in a direction that is more positive, then I don't see why that's such a bad thing. And that's the thing these kids need to understand. And a lot of times I get it. They don't want to do the work. It's pedantic. It's too much to handle. But, we're here to support them, apoyarnos, like to support us and support them. We're supporting our families by doing the work, by teaching these kids, but we're also supporting them, apoyarlos, para ayudarnos. Yeah. Because we want to make certain that they understand that this is important, because there's so many things in the future that if they don't understand now, they're not going to function. And that's the thing. People think, well, I don't need mathematics, or I don't need this, I don't need that. But no, in all honesty, this is why there's an issue with people not believing in certain scientific facts and certain mathematics, and they don't get it, because they're going to end up being the people who disregard the most important things in society, and then we perpetuate the same stupidity for years upon years. And it's great to see that these men are doing their very best to try to inspire these children. Whether these kids take it or not is one thing, but it's great, and I'm glad to see that it's a UTEP alum besides Keith Davis doing this. So thank you so much, Germard Reed, for doing what you do, because es muy importante. Educación es todo. It's everything. Without education, we're lost. So thank you so much for what you do, Jamared and Mr. Keith Davis. So yeah, it's pretty much an interesting overall story that I had to kind of share, because it was kind of just random. It's kind of thrown into the mix with all that in the end.
It's beautiful, man. I mean, what are the odds of you running into, running into some ex-players that have done a lot for their community and for other people? That's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, and see, I kind of wanted to say hi, but I was just like, I don't want to bother them. They probably have a lot to do.
Nah, dude, it's not hard to say hi.
Yeah, it would have been really cool. But I don't know. I'm one of those guys that just likes to not be in other people's way, especially people that have a little bit more pull and drive than me. But maybe it's something I need a break, and I need to give myself a little more confidence in that.
Yeah, dude, you got to remember, they're also human too. They also need a break from what they do, just to have a nice, casual, down to earth conversation with, anybody. So don't ever be afraid to have a conversation with people like that. You'd be surprised what you can, you could be surprised the story that they have to tell, and maybe a lot of things that, you have in common you didn't even know. So yeah, don't ever be afraid to say hi to someone like that.
Yeah. I mean, I made that same mistake with Robin Williams, and then he passed away. So I don't know. That was very unfortunate. But Mr. Reed seems like a very nice guy, and he had to deal with a lot. And it was good to hear a story of like perseverance and all that from both of them, really, because Keith Davis had a lot of great things to say as well. And thank you all for what you do to try to inspire kids of all ages and even just people in general to try to continue forward and not to give up, and to not fall for the wrong crowd, because that was another huge thing they were kind of talking about, not getting in with the wrong people.
Yes.
And it was funny, there was a moment where because he talked about different sorts of dreams, like little dreams, medium dreams, big dreams, adult dreams, and then I don't know, I forgot what each dream he said, but he had people of different sizes come up, like different kids and then a couple of adults. And what they would do is like kind of explain how each one is. Like the little dreams is like, they're simplistic, they don't rise to the occasion. Then the medium dreams, or they're just mediocre. Like kind of giving explanations. He wasn't trying to down it per se, but he was trying to at least explain that you can shoot for so much more. So what happened is they got each person and what they would do is Jamared would get on his fours, and they would put one person on him, and he would do a push-up, and then the next person, and it would keep going, like the bigger person. And they even got it to where they did one of the staff, and I think maybe they even put another small little girl just for a little extra, and he pushed up with them on his back too, which I'm a little skeptical, and I'm a little nervous for that, because again, considering he had a neck injury, it's like, yikes, I don't want something to happen to him. But in all honesty, in some recent previous pictures, he was a little bit bigger, but recently he's lost a lot of weight. Like I saw, and he looks really good. And he's just like boom, pure power, man, just on those push-ups. It was surprising.
Good, man. That's good to see. I mean, all that extra weight does more harm especially when you've suffered an injury in the past. So I'm glad that he's taking care of himself and moving forward with just trying to stay healthy and help other people along the way. So
yeah, education and mental health is extremely important. That's what they've been trying to push. So that's, once again, muchísimas gracias por todo te haces, like everything that you do.
Claro. Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so that's kind of my story as far as an El Pasoan to kind of highlight, or at least an El Pasoan at heart, being from UTEP.
Oh, most definitely, man.
So I tried to go back to the El Paso Locomotive FC stuff, and I didn't see much else. I guess that's all we had. I mean, they had on that thing. So I guess it's either the last game of the season, which I don't know. That's going to be interesting. It's kind of exciting. And let's see, just really news. Okay, so
it would be nice for the
match rescheduled. Okay,
it would be nice for Fox Sports or ESPN or whoever to capture a lot of these other soccer league games, because it'd be nice to, especially since I'm over here in Dallas, it'd be nice to see them play when I can't go in person.
Mm-hmm.
But of course, I'm gonna have to keep a track of their schedule. If they were to ever come over here, I don't know if they have anybody over here they play, but it'd be nice.
So they got rescheduled for November 5th to avoid conflict with the UTEP game. Okay. So they're gonna play on my birthday.
That would make sense.
Hopefully, one of my birthday presents is that they win. Vámonos locos. Un regalito para mí.
Patos locos forever, bro.
Patos locos forever.
Imagine if they used that. That would be funny.
I bet you on some of their screens they use some shit like that. That'd be hilarious. But anyhow, that's really all I had to talk about as far as today. Hopefully soon we can get more guest appearances, because we had OG Sensei, mi compa Oscar, last week.
Yeah.
So hopefully we can get more people. I might talk around to some people that are from El Paso, and even for the other non-UTEP Tuesday episodes, I'm hoping to get more guests to speak. Maybe I can ask Nate Oots, the Bull Nate again, and I was thinking of talking to one guy because he seems interested, but I got to find a date that he would be able to do it. He's kind of an interesting guy. He works on a lot of the editing for another YouTuber. But I'm hoping to kind of keep that a little bit of a surprise until we actually get the go from him. So we'll see how that pans out.
Oh, I'm sure it'll work out. I mean, like I said,
veremos.
I know, lo veremos, bro. Like I said, things are still in the infant stage. We'll get there.
Yeah, most definitely. But yeah, in all honesty, I'm just glad that UTEP is doing well again, and hopefully this game against Florida Atlantic goes well, and hopefully the El Paso Locomotive wins on November 5th. I'm very excited for that. So yeah, that's really all we had time for. And Halloween's coming up soon, so that's another great thing. Dia de los Muertos and Halloween. So we'll see what happens at that point. I think Saturday is going to be the 30th, right? And then the 31st is on a Sunday.
Yes, that is correct.
Yeah. So maybe we'll do a Halloween kind of special for this next upcoming episode. But we'll keep you all posted. It was great talking about UTEP and El Paso stuff for today. Pero ya sabes, mi gente. Sigue mi canal y hasta la próxima, mi gente. Adiós. Bye.
Bye.
Y también sigue a MarkTip25 en Spotify, Greenroom, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram y TikTok.